then one day, there will be a day that you are being cut over by anyone and everyone, and you are just fine with it. And guess what? You are so peaceful. This is what it is when you basically overcome, the seeing of others as, something crazy. You don't like them, they don't like me. You think you're going to repair everything. You just see them as very precious people because they also make others happy. Even, anyone, as one Lama said, even prostitutes. You know how we are again, we look at someone like, oh, that's a prostitute, we should not be close to her. This is going to be very hard, but if you think about it, you think about it. Doesn't matter. If he or she makes someone happy, why not? This is way advanced. But you see the logic of that? If you see, if truly, genuinely makes someone happy, and I surrender. This is the mind that is so vast and open. But if we say, depends, that mind very narrow. We are not here to judge. When you judge just because what? We judge because we always base it from our own perspective. That is very narrow. We need to open, okay? And see the other side, why they do it. Why? But without judgment, you will know the truth, and it actually, your compassion comes out. Remember when I said last time, we are very good in seeing only one side. We cannot see beyond because of our own judgment. How can you see someone very special? Because you think you are more special than that person. I'm more special. And that's it. That's the end. You cannot develop bodhicitta. Cannot even taste it. Have you known someone who actually, gives you a perfume and they have no ability to smell it? Close, but yet not able to do it. How can you actually give yummy food to this person if also cannot taste it? It's like this. We are practicing things that sometimes it's right in front of you, you don't see it because you are so narrow. Okay. You don't have the ability to turn your head left and right. You only look forward. Or have you ever seen a car that doesn't have a reverse? It just goes forward. You cannot back up. It's like this very narrow, very limited function. And I tell you what, we cannot go beyond bodhicitta. We cannot even taste bodhicitta if we don't have the ability to bend, to be flexible, okay, to see different angles without judgment. So how do we change our attitude? Don't be surprised, you know. You don't act like, okay, and you say, someone comes to you and you say, oh, did you know? You know, others say, did you know? Like, no, tell me. And then the person tells, like drama, like, well, because, and then, okay. And then your friend, you say, well, you should be reacting. You don't react like her because your mind is so open. You say, we don't know. And then you say, oh, good on him. Good on him. Like, why? Why you say good? That should be bad. No, you know, you never know. Right? See? This is the practice. Okay? This is how, you know, this is the first verse of the 8 ones. Okay? Imagine when you can actually digest even 1 or 2 of these verses. I'm telling you, it softens your mind, your capacity and ability. It will melt and dissolve the ego. This is what it is. In order for bodhicitta to be reached, we have to cut, okay, the ego. We have to trim it very nicely and fine, with this kind of practice. Yeah? Okay. So, any questions from here? Just look at the preciousness of everybody. Why they're precious? Because they make others happy. They also do their job, to make the economy work so that we will all be happy. Yeah? This country is such, we are so peaceful, right? Look at us right now. We cannot even hear any bomb or anything. Such a blessing. Yeah? Like that. We probably don't even really, we know this, but we don't really contemplate very hard, and to the point that you will cry, a tear will drop in the eye and say, my goodness, this life is so precious. May I benefit others, and I see them as precious beings. May they be all well and happy. Yeah. If you practice like this every day, 7 days, yeah? 7 days. Anyone you meet, anyone you see, including the bird. I had this bird at Sifu's house. And I noticed that this bird, because I talked to him one time, that I said, we have bread. And the bird, each time I actually have breakfast, he comes, and check whether, I said, just 1 second, because we are low in bread today, and I said, just 1 second, I'm going to tell Sifu. And Sifu's sitting next to me. And he said, Sifu, bird's here. And he said, oh, we don't have bread. And then I said, bird's hungry. But this bird, he's checking. He comes close to the window, But I said, just 1 minute. I said, we'll find you bread. And then I said, but you want butter first? Because we have so much butter. And then maybe you have butter first before the bread. And then later on, you see, because of the compassion, not me, okay? This is just my reaction of Sifu, Sifu stood up, went around, and found a bread, yeah? And she went start to cut. She said, put the thing, and I just love watching that. And I said to the bird, your wish is being granted now. And then Sifu just met, and Sifu's cut. It's so generous, it's so big, like this. And I said, Sifu, that's too large. I said, the birds is very little with small beak. Only big birds would come, you know. And I said, oh, I said, it's okay. That's the bread's probably very hard. So, anyways, guess what? The wish of the bird was fulfilled. But why? If I did not care about the bird didn't, you know, I did not fulfill the wish of the bird. You see? Talking about just the bird. How about you that actually manages people? Okay? If you are a manager or a leader of a group, if you have compassion, such as looking beyond theirs, you know, these people are special, they need you. You work very hard to fulfill their needs. Yeah. This is the practice of bodhicitta, a real approach. This is the real approach. It's not a magic that all of a sudden you woke up and you have compassion in your heart. No, ma'am. No, sir. You're gonna have to practice this thing. It's not just mouth, you see. The mind starts here. You cannot. These are training. You have to train the mind, the selfish mind. Yeah. And so it says in the last part, may I hold. Yeah? It says, may I hold them dear at all times. So, what is the I? May I. Because we're going to have to, you know, these 8 fundamentals, we are now injecting emptiness here. The true essence of emptiness. The I. The self. The person. The agent. Yeah? And Buddha Palita and Chandakirti argue. Now, I'd like you to really remember this because this is Chandakirti. Okay? The real, he expounded more of emptiness. What is the meaning of the I? The self. This has to be understood purely, okay, in terms of how we experience our sense of self. How do you experience yourself? I is basically experience, okay? The self is how you experience the self. Like right now, I feel young, I feel old, I'm sick, you know, or like that. That is my experience. So then that is the self. Okay? But here's the thing. The essence of the I and self, okay, as Chandakirti is saying, is like a chariot. You know the chariot? Mm-hmm. You know? Chariots like this. Yeah? What the chariots actually composes. You know, what does it have? You have a horse. Right? Yeah. You have the rider. And you have the wagon. Have the wheels. What else? It has a whip, you know, The self, little by little you understand this, which you probably already do. The self is not just one entity. You know the chariot? Yeah. It's like self. It composed of many dependent parts. Is the chariot a wheel?
No.
No. Is the chariot the whip?
No.
What about the horse? Oh, come on. No?
It's part of it.
It's part of it. Shanda Kirti said, self is like a chariot. It comprises of dependent arising of each parts. The self is not self-existent, or meaning independent existent. It is basically, the self is just a name of the entire agent or person. Okay. So if you look at your body right now, or you, where is yourself? Where is the I?
From top to toe.
Yeah. So if I cut your arm, where is your I? Where is yourself? So you lost your one arm.
You still sell, except you lost one arm.
Yeah. Okay, so you cut.
See, you're not complete.
Your incomplete self. Yeah, even if you don't have the leg, there is still a self. Yeah, because the self composed of your aggregates.
Many parts.
Okay, many parts that comes with what? Your body parts, right? Even, yeah, but it's not a lone body part. It comes with your consciousness, your mental factors, okay? Your smelling consciousness, your seeing consciousness, all of that. Oh my goodness, many parts of it, right? And then the very least is what? Is the consciousness. You may have no body, but you're still conscious. That is still, you say, oh, that's the I. But the truth is the I is just a designate name for that. Okay, very temporary. But the problem here is we think the I is what? Is only one. So when people lose their vision, for example, oh, they think the I is the eyes.
No.
But it's very difficult because again, because we think that I is very solid and it exists by itself, you know. And so, the I in here says, it is the bodily and mental existence is based on the aggregates, you know, the 5 aggregates, which are the psychophysical constituents of beings. You see, all these are collective parts to become what it is. You are technically what you call dependent. You are not independent. Okay? So the I is still a subject of what? The law of impermanence, you know. And your experience is dependent on your karma. And why do we exist is because of samsara. We took rebirth. Why do we have birth? Because we are still bound on this cyclic existence. You know, unless we become Buddha, then we have the choice of not returning to birth. No suffering. Yeah. But, so the bottom line here of this practice, okay, this week, I'd like you to see every being, every sentient being as precious, because they take part of making others happy. They make others also, they produce things that you benefit. And guess what? You collect merit because of them. Remember, you cannot take merit on the microphone or on a table, or you talk to a wall. You will not receive merit in doing that. You only accumulate and be realized, to gain realization is because of other beings. That includes what? Animals. Okay? Yeah, so everyone that I'd like you to see from this very moment on, you see them as precious people, as precious beings. They're rare. Okay? No matter how difficult you probably feel right now with them, you understand how to do it now? Yeah. You say, this person benefit others, so I respect him. That's it. Even how proud that person may be, it's okay. He's also making others happy. Then, set aside your agenda. Okay? The reason why you are having difficulty with this person is because of your view, because of your projections. He probably doesn't even know. Yeah. But also because of their ignorance and your ignorance. Okay.
Sometimes it's your job.
And most of the time it is your job. Not anyone's, it's yours. Okay. Yeah. This, little by little, little by little, you will see. Okay, so just be patient. Okay. All right. Hien, do you have a problem? Do you have a question?
No,
just looking. Yes. Okay. Now. Okay, before we end, then, we will then make this as our training for this week. Okay. Do your best. Okay. We will all practice together. Anyone you have flare, negative flare in your heart, you realize that they are special. So you please respect, hold them dear. Okay. You don't have to tell them. Okay. Unless you're so strong and you go and apologize, that is more powerful. Okay? You serve them. I like that because I have done this many, many times. You just surprise them and, just give a gift and say, I have been difficult for you. Please forgive me. Here's a dark chocolate. May you enjoy. You know what? You turn everything. That is pulling a rug out of somebody's foot. And you say, my goodness. And you will be remembered very deeply. Yeah. And this practice is quite profound. Yeah. Okay? 7 days. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and dedicate. On page 10. And that piece of paper, when you sit on meditation every day, you just put it on your table and just read it, and it kind of revive you every day, for that practice of the mind. Yeah, training. Page 10. Through the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the precious body mine, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. May anyone who merely sees, hears, remembers, touches or talks to me, be freed from that very instant, from all sufferings, and abide in happiness forever. May sentient beings who have all been my mother and father be completely happy, and may the lower realms be forever empty. May all the prayers of bodhisattvas, in whatever places they live, be immediately fulfilled. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever directions the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I expose this treasure of happiness and aid. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sis.